Welcome to Birds of Prey Sports Talk. We're your hosts, Jared and TJ. And in this video, we'll be breaking down the Orioles versus Mariners series, which was interesting to start out and great to finish off. We're going to go right through the first game here. We lose 13-1. That's it. You know, no top hitters, no top pitchers. We just stunk. We crapped the bed. That's really all I got to say there.
And we had a basketball lineup as well.
Yeah, so you guys know that. Yep, we get the point. Nothing much to cover there. Santander hits a home run. Frazier didn't know how to field a double play ball, which led to all this madness. So, whatever. Anyway, game 2, which is a game I went to with my mom as a I guess a birthday present for her. She got a treat out of this because we win 6-4 and 10. Orioles get 1 in the second. Whoa, yeah, 1 in the second. Mariners get 2 in the third. We get 1 in the third as well. We get 1 in the fifth. They get 1 in the sixth. We also get 1 in the sixth, but they get 1 in the ninth. So Bautista blows a save, unfortunately. But we get 2 in the 10th. So walk-off home run, our first walk-off home run of the year. No, I'm sorry, that's a lie. Our second walk-off home run of the year. It's like we're covering a 2-game series here. This game was most important because guess what? It was Cedric Mullins' first game back since coming off the IL. So happy, going on the IL. So happy to have him back. You know, just having him roam center field, even though he didn't roam center field today. He was DHing because it did rain, you know, a little bit beforehand. And they probably didn't want him running on that wet surface, which is completely understandable. He had a hamstring injury, so you don't want him to re-injure that. Anyway, we're going to go right to our top hitters. Anthony Santander goes 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs and one run scored. Hearn goes 1 for 4. He also got robbed of a home run, so that wasn't fun. Henderson goes 2 for 4 with a run scored. Hicks goes 1 for 4 with an RBI, which was a home run and a run scored. Frazier goes 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. And McKenna goes 1 for 1, a pinch hitter, with a 2 RBI home run to win the game. And boy, was I singing his praises beforehand. And I, dang well I wasn't. Anyway, I feel bad for Kramer. Kramer pitched his tail off just for him not to get a win or loss. He goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, but 3 home runs given up, so not ideal. Cano goes 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits and zeros across the board. Coulomb goes 1/3 of an inning. He threw 1 pitch and got 1 out, so that was good. Right. And Bautista, allowed. Look, I'll just go through it. One hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, and 1 home run. And honestly, that home run just shocked the stadium. Everybody in the stadium just their hands on their head. You couldn't believe it. You get the first 2 outs, and then the guy just bombed it. That was a bomb, bro. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but that almost hit Boogs, like Shohei's did. It's so it was definitely heartbreaking and really easy to feel like you could have lost this game. But look, I'm telling you, while everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, McKenna did this and Santander did that and blah blah blah," Mike Bauman's performance today in this game, he deserves the MVP and Player of the Game of this just because of it. Goes an inning, no zeros across the board and 2 strikeouts. He came in and just shut the door down in the 10th inning with the runner on second rule. He didn't let him move up at all. No bunt hits, no base hits, no blue hits or whatever you want to do, which was the Mariners special the night before. Blue pit after blue pit after blue pit, no power whatsoever, even though they hit 3 home runs today. I'm sorry, 4 home runs. All solo shots, though. That's important. If you're going to give up home runs, at least let them be solo shots. Yeah. But anyway, nothing like that. And Bauman comes in and saves the day. No run scored. Even if McKenna did hit that home run, anyways, we would have won the game even if they scored once. But it's ideal to at least, go into the bottom of the 10th with still being tied, because then you got a chance to win and not just tie. Honestly, in this game, it was very, very frustrating, and I'm gonna get into everything. Our first score of the game, I believe, was from Adam Frazier, and then he tries to round first, going to second, gets caught up in a rundown, but then for some reason, our third base coach thought it'd be a good idea to send Arias around third at the same time, and Arias is gunned down at home from the first baseman. Santander gets a base hit and drives him and run. Tries to extend it to 2 and gets thrown out at second. So instead of it being runners on second and third with 1 out, it's runners on third with 2 outs. And in the bottom of the 9th, this is the biggest blunder of the game. Cedric Mullins is up with Mateo on first. Cedric Mullins pops up to the catcher. Jorge Mateo is running down the freaking from first to second like the ball's in the gap. Now, I really like Mateo. I like his energy. I really like him as a person. He seems like a great dude. Like I said, he brings a lot of energy to his team. But that's the second or third time he's done that. And I'm sitting there in the stadium watching from a great perspective, watching him run a second. The ball is like, let's say I'm doing what Mateo is doing right now. The ball is 20, 30 feet over there behind home plate because it was a pop-up to the catcher. And he's looking this way in center field, right center field, whatever, looking for the ball. At that moment, if you do not know where the ball is, you have base coaches for a reason. And now our base coaches are honestly buffoons, but you have to think that they're right there. Both of them are like yelling like back, back, back. Like you have to think that. I mean, the crowd wasn't yelling. Nothing was loud. Everybody was kind of sad because Mullins popped out. But I mean, you have to think that like I said, the base coaches have to be telling them, come on, back, 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 because I mean, are you not aware of maybe he didn't know how many outs there were? Like, I don't know. Like, you have to be as a base runner like that, you have to be aware of everything like that. I mean, you're looking in the outfield and the ball's behind you. That's some stuff DJ Stewart would do or whatever, like so look, honestly, every single game, it just feels like he tries hard and hard to lose his job, and he won't, and I'd like to keep him. He's valuable with his glove. He's valuable, running the ball. Not running the ball. He's not a running back. Running on the base path. But the only way he can get on the base path is if he get base hits. And that's just something he's not doing. So honestly, at this point, he's becoming more valuable as just kind of like a pinch runner. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on Jorge Mateo and what we should do with him?
Like I said in a previous video about Jorge, I expected a lot more out of him this season, and it's sad to see kind of the slow downward slope that he's been going through. And just like you, I would love to keep him. I feel like he has great high potential, but it's just when you're doing just odd things like that, and then especially I remember during the Rays series, he went 0 for 4. He was trending on Twitter. When your fans are visibly angry with you, it's not much you can do to save yourself, if you keep having these performances. And we're just going to let you go. And I have a feeling that when we let him go, he'll become good for another team. And I hate those players because we did it with Koji Uehara. We did it with there's Jason Hamill, I think, was decent for another team. Nick Markakis. There's a lot of players that left this team that were great.
I think you're thinking of Jake Arrieta.
Jake Arrieta, yes, him.
I know Jason Hamill went to the Cubs after the Orioles, I believe, but I think Arrieta was the Cubs pitcher that you're thinking about.
Yeah. I would just hate for that to happen again because be good with us. So I don't want him to go either. I want him to get through this, but at the same time, each game just seems to set him far back than where he started. So,
and that's whether it's swinging at 3 pitches and striking out. I mean, there are some things where it's like somebody sends me a screenshot of it where it's like 3 pitches out of the zone, he swung at every single one of them and didn't make contact on any of them. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. And I think that the way his numbers line up, I don't know if he'll leave and go get it with another team. I don't have confidence in him to be able to do that. He just has too many tangibles where it's like his chase rate's too high. His average exit velocity isn't up there with any of the good shortstops out there. It's just he can field the ball very well and he can run the bases better than a lot of players in this league. But I mean, the only way you're going to be valuable, there's no designated fielders and there's no designated runners. So I mean, there's a designated hitter, which he'll probably never be. So I mean, like I said, he offers a lot of energy to this team, but can't be doing that to us, man. And you can lose your job fairly easily, especially with how much prospects are willing to be called up.
Right.
Before we get to the next game, can you believe McKenna hitting the game-winning home run?
Of all people.
Like, I remember my mom made a comment during the game. She said, "At least Ryan O'Hearn's up next, right?" And I said, "Yeah, he's gonna be." And there was one out in the inning already, and I said, "Yeah, like, but he's gonna be up with two outs." Ryan O'Hearn never wound up hitting coming up to bat because McKenna hits his home run, and I'm glad everybody gave him his flowers on Twitter, and he needed to do that, especially after what he did up in Boston. So,
They
you
still don't
know,
forgive him for that. They still
no, I don't think even with that home run, only way they'll forgive him is if he hits a game-winning grand slam to win Game 7 of the World Series, and
yeah.
that's an if. That's
That's
not confirmed that we will.
that's the thing about Baltimore. It's tough love. You got to get tough love from the fans. You got to be
Yeah,
prepared.
I mean, I think McKenna is valuable in some aspects. Like he's kind of like Mateo. I mean, but he hits a little bit better than Mateo.
Mhm.
So, for Mateo, it'd be nice if Mateo could be like a 250 hitter, but he's batting in the 220s. So that's just not going to get it done.
Mhm.
So more on Mateo later, I guess, if he continues to struggle. So the rubber match of the series, looking to win our second series in a row. I'm sorry, no. We're looking to win our first series since I believe the Blue Jay series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Seattle gets two in the second, which I have to talk about that. We get two in the third on Anthony Santander, 2-run home run. One in the fifth, and no more scoring after that. We hold him to 3 hits, and so Bautista gets a save. His 21st of the year. Good bounce back after a blown save. Mullins goes 1 for 4, gets his first hit coming back from the IL. Santander hits a home run, goes 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 1 run scored. And I believe that was his 5th home run in 6 games. So he's on a tear right now. McKenna pinches he substitutes in right field, so he doesn't hit anything.
Mhm.
Henderson goes 1 for 4. Hayes goes 1 for 3. Mateo goes 1 for 2, walks once, so that's important. The person who walks at least in the team walks against a person who has the least amount of walks in the league. So that's crazy. And Anthony Benboom in his first game back with the Orioles goes 1 for 3. He technically brought in the game-winning RBI, but they didn't count an RBI for him. Kyle Bradish goes 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, a home run given up. Danny Coulomb goes an inning, zeros across the board with a strikeout, and Batista goes an inning, gives him 1 hit, but no runs, no earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts to finish the game. Now, the Mariners get 2 runs on kind of a BS kind of situation where Eugenio Suarez clearly swings the bat, but they say he didn't swing the bat. But on top of that, that ball was in the strike zone that was caught a ball. I believe there's one more pitch in the at bat where it should have been caught a strike, but it was called a ball. Instead, he lines, and on the next pitch afterwards, he lines a hard hit ball into left field that was almost a home run, but unfortunately enough hits the wall. But unfortunately enough, Cal Raleigh comes up, their power hitting catcher, and hits a moonshot onto Utah Street, and it's 2-0. Now, I want to go on a little bit of rant. I kind of want your opinion afterwards. MLB umpires and officials in general in all leagues need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
If stuff like this has happened, I mean, what if this happened in the playoff game? What if this is a wild card game? Or even worse, what if this is a World Series game? They need to be held accountable. Now, I know they bring out their best for the playoffs, but you never know. Something like this could happen. I'm sorry, but if you are continuing like stuff like this, you need to be fired or you need to be fined or whatever. If you're a player in this league and you struggle and you're not doing well, you'll be let go, DFA, traded, just released outright, you know. But for umpires, it's who cares? They messed up. Oh well, not big of a deal. MLB is going to do nothing about it. And honestly, officials across this league want to whine and complain that they're being abused or whatever, like verbally abused or whatever, but they're crappy at their jobs. Let's be real. They're all terrible. I mean, not all terrible, but most of them are terrible. It's an show. It's a complete show in baseball. And they're going to continue to do it. Look, if I got a job and was completely terrible work performance every single day, Do you think they'd keep me and not say anything? No, I'd be fired. I would be fired. And it should be the same with them. It should be the same with them. And I mean, it's really embarrassing. And there needs to be a stand. I mean, honestly, there should be like how we get reviewed for our job performance. So should they. So from the players, from the managers, or from wherever, because I mean, you can't keep doing this. I mean, Bradish in reality allowed no hits and allowed no runs, but no, he allowed 2 hits and 2 runs just on those 2 batters alone, where Eugenio Suarez should have struck out. But no, they called nothing, no strikeout, no anything, and the inning continues and a home run is given out. I mean, do you agree, or like do you have your own thoughts about this?
I definitely agree that, these umps should be held very accountable, especially for bad calls. Your job is literally to study the rules of the game, to a point where you can 95% of the time should be 100, but 95% of the time you know, call out plays appropriately, and
Right,
it's like a lot of times they miss that, and obviously, some umps they may be corrupt or they might be just might not have a good eye, but
right,
should be held accountable
yep,
for the actions. These cost teams wins. These cost teams positions later on in the season.
right,
They need to be done right. If you deserve it, you deserve it.
right.
So that's how I see it. They should very much be held accountable.
Yep. And I mean, luckily it didn't cost us in the game. We wound up still winning. But I mean, let's say we lose 2-1, or we score two, and then the Mariners score a few in the extra innings, and we don't win the game and we lose the series. I mean, everyone's gonna look at the first 2 runs of the game and be like, look, they shouldn't even have those in the first place. But luckily they didn't score anything else after that. So there's no harm, no foul, I guess, which is kind of probably how the MLB views it. And that's really not how should they view it. So yeah, honestly, it's embarrassing, but I mean, it's going to continue to happen unless something is done about it, and it doesn't seem like there ever is going to be. Unless they get their jobs taken by the robo umps, but who knows how long that'll take. Um, but like I said, luckily we win the series. Get our first series win in a while. Um, now we head into the playing the Cincinnati Reds on fire. Cincinnati Reds, they do lose the series versus the Braves, but not without a big fight. And they got that exciting new flashy guy, Ele de la Cruz, I believe his name, and he's fast. He hit bombs, plays pretty good defense, so not to worry about him, in the next series. So hopefully we contain him. Not hard to, and I mean it's not easy to contain guys like that. So big series, and then we got a big series versus the Twins coming up as well. After the Reds, got 2 great games. I'm going to 2 games. Floppy hat night, Hawaiian shirt night, so it should be fun. I think I went to like the last 3 of Hawaiian shirt nights, if I'm not mistaken. I went to 2021, and the Orioles got their faces kicked in by the White Sox. I went last year. I'm going to okay, so yeah, that's fun. um, but anyway, that's a recap of the Orioles versus Mariners series. Do you have any last thoughts before we go?
No, no thoughts.
So, like I said, we got our 47th win of the year, which is pretty much how many games we won in 2018. That's so we did that in June. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Show on TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, wherever you can. Don't forget to subscribe to our second channel, which is called Casual Cinema, where we break down movies and TV shows. And we're Birds of Prey, and we're out.
Oh.